it's I think it it requires so much to hate someone or to not like them or
Right.
to it just so many energies. And like, imagine if we use them towards building a project, towards doing something that's so concrete.
Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome to this episode of Angels Don't Lie. My name is Jeanne Street, and if this is your first time here, I'm so happy to have you. And if this is your repeat time, 100th time, I want to say how much I love and appreciate you. I have a very special episode today. Today, I am interviewing Tagdees. Tagdees is a woman who I met over the summer at a beautiful retreat that I attended. What you're going to hear is the incredible story of this one woman who said yes to God and has changed the lives of hundreds of people. She has put women to work in Pakistan, and she is on a mission to nourish and expand souls across the globe. She doesn't wait for something to come to her. What's happened is she's actually allowed herself to open up and being in the realm of God, lead me, guide me, show me, and taking that step, that leap of faith, even when it's so scary and there you can't see past the place that you're in. She's very open about her journey through depression and what it looks like to carry on a business that has so much love and expansion inside of it, including hitting 6 figures this year. I can't wait for you to hear this woman's story and her journey to yes, God, yes, because it's not always easy. So I want you to know, like, you're not alone and I've got your back. God loves you. Enjoy this episode.
Angels don't lie. Angels don't lie. Angels don't lie. Angels don't lie. No, 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 no.
Hi. It's so
How
good.
are you?
Good.
I know, it's so good to see you. It's been such a long while since we haven't connected.
I know. I'm like in awe of you, like in awe.
It's,
And God just like shines so brightly through you.
mhm.
And I think this is like, I'm going to get all teary-eyed. This is the thing that drew me to you. Was my eye kept catching you when I met you. Like I just kept looking at you because, I see, my gift allows me to see into the veil, and I see all that light around you. I see God working through you.
This makes it work.
And though we have like different backgrounds in like, I mean, in all ways, right? Like, from religion to, where we're from, like everything, it's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same.
I was just telling someone, I was like, we're the branches of the same tree. God created us all. It's like, we are all children of God. So I don't like when you go out into the world, because we just decide to stay in our own colonies and not like, and then you find out like, it's all the same. Everything is the same.
Yeah.
It's just that there's just, if we same is also simple, and if we just kept it simple, we would not be here.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And I was talking to my husband the other day. I was like, I want my kids and you as a family, we see everyone as being human beings who are created by God. And whatever they believe in is everyone has their own journey with religion, with faith, with spirituality. But I think it all equals to freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God gives everyone the freedom to choose what they want to choose. People convert all the time. People revered all the time. People have like, different, the way I practice religion is very different from what my parents practice, or from what my sister practice, or what my kids are going to practice.
Right.
And if we just opened our hearts for each other, we would create this beautiful place where everyone can breathe, where everyone can blossom. And I always say that we are all, flowers of the same garden. And let's come back to that point and let our kids play in that garden. And I just love that. I think love is the answer now there, and people are ready for it. We are just so tired of like just it's I think it it requires so much to hate someone, or to not like them, or
Right.
to it's just so many energies. And like, imagine if we use them towards building a project, towards doing something that's so concrete. And I don't know if you know already, I started a nonprofit after the Malibu retreat.
We talked that you were going to, so tell me. I want to know. I want to know
Okay,
more. I want all
so
the details.
August 3rd, like we were there. And when I did the meditation with Kathy, I was sitting on the ground feeding children. And I was like, okay, my purpose is, let's just start with food. It's simple. So, and then I was like, okay, we also have to empower women. So how do we all bring it together? So I hired 2 women. Like the project, first it was 1 woman feeding 10 families each day. So she got money for cooking, and then she distributed the food. And this particular woman is my cousin, who lost her 10-year-old 5 years ago
Mm.
and never came out of it. Um, and it was so beautiful the way this project. So we launched a website, um, and on August 31st, and within one day, I had $2,400.
Can you just tell everybody like where this is happening? Because I know that we don't want to assume like this is here in America. I know that you want to tell your story, a little bit of background. Can you do
Okay.
that? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this whole project is taking place in Pakistan, in a city called Lahore. And this project, I want everyone to take this project and do it in their communities. It started with $200 that I gave. It was a percentage that I always gave away with my business. And then with the retreat, everyone was talking about it. And I was like, okay, let's do something. Thank God my husband knows how to make a website. He's a multimedia designer. So that gets easily done. We just put everything together. The 501c3 wasn't registered. And I thought, like, let's see how it starts. And I want everyone to know that you don't have to have ABCD done. You can do it along
That's
the
right.
way. Just don't wait. If there's something on your heart, just do it. You are not promised another minute. We all know how uncertain life is. I sometimes look at people, even when we are making plans, oh, next year I'm going to do that. And after COVID, this is something that I no longer practice. I'm like, if you're going to do something, do it right now. If you
Right.
have the resources, do it right now. Even if you don't have the resources, ask. You have no idea what's going to come your way. And so we launched a website. I shared it among my friends. I shared it on Let's Come Forward. The website address is www.letscomeforward.com/serve. And it gives you the whole information regarding the project. And Jeannie, I tell you, it's what, October 27th today?
28th.
Right?
Yeah.
28th, right? So we started August 31st, October 28th. We already have about $7,000 in donations.
Absolutely incredible. Like that's what inspires me about you, because you flow very similar to me. Like the idea comes in, it downloads, and then you take a foot and you go. This isn't normal for most people, because you said, they want to wait, they want to plan, they want to cultivate the resources and make the list. And I understand that, but I also understand like what happens when we wait. And so you have a very inspiring story as well, like what you've already done, like now this great thing of feeding basic needs, of feeding people. Like how life-changing is that to nourish a soul? I get, when you were talking, I kept seeing Mother Teresa, Mother Teresa, Mother Teresa all around you. So that's her mission working through you. Feeding.
Oh, thank you so much. It means the world to me because I have looked up to her ever since I was a kid. And I think for me, I think it liberates me when I'm helping other people out because I know God is watching me as well.
Right.
Right.
When we take our
So,
focus off of I and then put it
yeah.
on community.
Yeah. I just feel like if I'm making your path easier in any way, shape, or form, it will make my path easier. For me
Let's
to launch other projects, I think it's so important for me to just give back and see what I'm doing first. Like,
let's
what is it that I'm
let's talk about your stickiness though, like, because there came a time like when you weren't doing this, where you were,
Mhm.
like, I want to talk about before you started to just shine your light. What was it like for you?
So let's go back to 2015. 2014 actually. So I was here. I got my education in the United States of America. I'm in Virginia. And I decided to get married in Pakistan, and that's where I'm originally from. But what fascinated everyone was like, I'm moving back. And it was such a shock because for everyone was like, who moves back? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, nope, this was one of another thing. I was like, I found a guy who's madly in love with me, and that's what I wanted. And it doesn't matter. It's still like we're still in the world. It's still a part of the world. And why does it matter where I live? And I tell you, Jeannie, like there were so many people who were like, oh, you're giving up all of this, but what is he doing? And that's one thing now I tell everyone, you never know what comes your way in life. So never judge people according to what you are giving up. Because
Mm.
maybe later on in life, they will have something to give up too and to put into that relationship. So when you are ready to get into a relationship, you give it your 100%, but just don't judge the other person just because you're doing so much. The other person at that time has to do it for you. It's just, you're just going to navigate through life, when one person gives one thing and the other person gives it. And it happens in all relationships, not just marriage. So I moved to Pakistan. A year later, I was pregnant. Things weren't working out. It was just a lot of things I never expected. Let's just put it that way. And we moved back. So I moved back to Virginia with my husband, 2015, and I was 8 months pregnant at that time. Um, One thing that I would like to put the light on was I went through a major postpartum depression without knowing it
Mm-hmm.
because
I
there was so
completely get
much
this.
going on.
Yep.
And I just wish someone said, you are so out of alignment. Go get some help.
Just
Um,
a friend to lean in and say, like, there's nothing wrong with you, but you need a little help.
yeah, it's like you are not you. I gained so much weight. It was my body looked different. I looked different. I was doing everything for my child, but there was just this, and my husband is thankfully the most loving person I know. So I had everything, yet I wasn't happy. Let's just put it in very simple words. I had my second son 20 months later, totally a surprise, which I'm so thankful for. And then I literally felt like I was this just like this midget that's just walking around because I just wasn't myself. And then one day, 4 years later, it took 4 years for me to realize, like, let's start something somewhere. And it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And it didn't happen for me overnight. Like I said, it took me 4 years to realize that there's something wrong. And even then, I really found out there was something really wrong and in what kind of darkness I was in until I started my own business.
And can you tell us what that business is?
So Wow Meme is a Pakistani ethnic boutique in Virginia. And this is one part I want everyone to listen to very closely. At that time, we were in debt. I just bought my inventory from a credit card and slowly and gradually like just paid it off. Do not wait. If there is a project, if there's something you feel passionate about, just businesses never work in ways where you're like, okay, I'll save this money and then I'll use this money. You will use that money very, very quickly.
Yes, you will.
And then you will be like, oh, what do I do? So, but when you take a loan or use a credit card, there's always a way to manage money. And I have decided, like, I'm so passionate about coaching people who are starting from scratch or who don't know where to start, because that's where I was at. But I still remember when I put the first tunic top on the stand, the way I felt, I didn't feel in years. Because this was a project of my own and something that I did other than my kids and my family. And I don't, by all means, I don't mean there's anything wrong with it, but do not forget who you are. We often forget who we are inside.
I think that's a thing, being a woman, I have 4 grown children now and 5 grandchildren. So when I was raising my kids, that's something that we really didn't talk about, society didn't talk about, was how to own who you are. Instead, it was just depleting, like always just, you're the mom, you're somebody's wife, you're the caretaker, you're the driver. And then we did foster care as well. So then I became, this part-time temporary mom for these children that came through our house. We had 14 different children throughout a 6-year period. And I felt the same way, like really, like I had all of this love, but I was like lonely. I was like sad inside and I couldn't put my finger on it. It wasn't like I was unhappy, but I wasn't happy. And it was because I didn't know who I really was. I wasn't expressing all of that God light in the ways that felt really good to me. Yes, cooking meals and doing all that thing are beautiful, but it can be repetitive and it can be the thing also that feels more like a chore than a joy.
And I think I'm so thankful for podcasts now,
right?
Because they provide that medium for you, right? Because society, I think, is still standing there. No one's gonna come to you and be like, "Did you take care of yourself?" Unless you
Did
are
you
very
take your
fortunate.
B12 today? Yeah.
Did you? All we hear is, "Oh, you look this way now. Oh, this is what. Look at her dark circles. Look at the way she looks. Look at how much weight she has gained." But no one talks about what has really happened. We just have became. We don't look inwards anymore. It's all outwards. Right. So with Wow Meme, and I tell you, the way it grew, I didn't do any background information. I just trusted myself and I knew there's no room for failure here.
And you just knew it.
I just knew it. And sometimes you have to trust yourself, right? This is big. We often, and I know some of the most successful people who I'm like, oh my God, if I were them, I'd be like doing all of this. And they must be so confident in what they're doing. No, the story is very, very different. We all need to work inwards. I mean, recently I went into coaching, but I know the sticky blocks that I had inside me because I've been doing that for free for so long. Yet it was so hard for me to put a price on it. And there was months of work that I had to do on myself. And I was like, what is the problem here? I have a business which started from negative balance, and now it's going to touch 6 figures this year. And now I have trouble asking for money. And then I realized my block is that I can charge for whatever product, but a piece of me I cannot charge for.
Yeah.
Right? But then it's so important for us to know the value, because as women, we discount ourselves
I think
like no other.
you actually show this in like in who you are and the things that you do. So one of the things that really, I mean, amazing, like your nonprofit and the journey that you've been on. But I think the thing that touched my heart so much when I first met you was the fact that you put other women to work, that you were bringing livelihood to a community that doesn't have that you were standing in this place of servitude, and you were just so, like, matter of fact. It was like, yeah, I hired these women in Pakistan, and now they're sewing, and now they have a job, and then they were able to like start the school, and the school was going to close, and like it was like no big deal. You were just like kind of rattling it off, and I was like, does she hear what she's saying? Like, she just changed the lives of how many people are affected? How many people were affected by your one decision to hire one woman?
I cannot even count, to be very honest.
Holy
I
cow.
cannot. It's a ripple effect, right? It's
Right.
something that is no longer in our hands. When we always read it all over there are always, so many images. We rise by lifting others. And I solely believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
This project that I'm doing with Let's Come Forward, it started with 10 families. Then we gained the donations started to come in. I hired another woman to cook. And you would not believe how educated these women are. Their family dynamics and their domestic dynamics just don't allow them to leave the house. And now they're earning to cook and for this amazing project. And I tell you, within a month, the change in their body language, the creativity of making meals and more meals, fast forward almost 2 months, we are giving lunch to 165 children every day.
Right there. That's 165 plus the woman that's making the meals, plus I'm sure she has help, and then those children's families. So look at that ripple effect.
And plus local businesses, because Pakistan is going through some really tough times politically, and inflation and the flooding. So it's like a cook who's getting paid, they got help. One of them is serving 165 children, and then the food that is left over, she makes meals for other families for the night. And keep in mind, these children only ate dinner.
Mm.
It's like whatever their mom and dad brought from working all day.
Right.
And the mothers are so happy because now they know their children are fed during the day.
Well, right. Wouldn't that just fill our hearts if our children here were fed? Like, we don't even think about that.
I mean, I would waking up now, I have a kindergartner and my other son is in first grade, but there are days I would love to have like a dinner ready for me. Just imagine that, like, I have worked and I was like, this is where the downloads are going to come from. And I already see that
Mm-hmm.
in ripple effects. And that's what I want to do. I don't want the women we are serving, to be maids all their life. They
Right.
can become cooks. This project can grow. This project can grow in so many countries. And even here, because food is something that we all need to nurture
Mm-hmm.
everything around us. We can't even go to school if we are hungry. Like, it just puts us all out of balance. And having good meals, good, healthy, homemade meals will make all the difference there is.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many things have just started to come my way, like with recently speaking in LA with a Persian Jewish woman on stage with Andy Grammer. We started a movement right there and then, standing there, peace, PEACE, of the heart movement. And now we have our first event on November 6th in LA. And we
I'm in
just,
awe of you.
it's not, when people, I was just speaking to a lawyer last night regarding 501c3. She was like, are you a superwoman? Because like every 5 minutes there's a new project you're telling me about. And one thing I tell you, Jeanne, I have been through the time recently where I was like, oh my God, I have all these projects, but I don't have money flowing through. And one day I sat down and I was like, I don't worry about every day feeding these 165 children because the donations are coming in one way or another. Yet I'm worried about my 2 children and how are they going to be fed and how we are going to live, a comfortable life, but we are already living a comfortable life. I think we have you know, there's so much materialism, even though we feel like we're not materialistic, but it was just like, it's hard to ground ourselves these days.
I love that you're talking about this because so many people are talking about manifesting and the big beach house or the items, but like it's basic living needs, and it's the desire of our hearts that we really need to lean into, because it's not the things that are going to make us happy. Like happiness comes from knowing our purpose, being in coherence with heaven, being in coherence with God, right? And being satisfied, being like knowing that we're of value, knowing that we're of service. That gives us that confidence. Like those three things, that's it, right?
I think when you keep God present, or keep whatever, you can translate it in whichever language you can. Let me tell you of this beautiful story that I think is going to stick with me for life. So here I was in LA last week and we were far stretched. You saw me in LA in August where I took this crazy adventurous 3-week trip with my family.
And her parents, I'll just say that, like not her children.
Yeah.
And they
yes,
stayed
my parents came. Yeah.
like literally
And
God had their back. All this stuff was working out.
everything was working out, but I was like, this was the third trip in October, and we were financially stretched, right? And I told my husband, I want to go. We'll keep it at minimum as we can. And meanwhile, I was like, I'm opening my heart. Whatever comes my way, now I'm gonna accept it. We got to the airport. We got the economy plus seats, all 4 of us. My children travel with me. And I was like, okay, this is great. And then during the plane ride, I was reading a book, or it was a Facebook post, something, and I read a quote from Muhammad Ali saying, the heart of the matter is, it's the matter of the heart. And I was like, yes, I was like, okay, this is just amazing. We get to LA, we go to Avis, even though we got like the cheapest car we were supposed to get, we get like a third tier, like luxury line car. And it was standing right, like it was like parked right in front of me. And I was like, oh, this is nice, but like, whatever, I'll just accept whatever comes our way. We got that. As I was walking out of that, I saw a very shiny penny on the ground. And I looked at it and I was like, is this for me? Should I pick it up, or am I supposed to walk away? But I was like, no, I see it. And when I picked it up, it was rusted. It was green and like it wasn't shiny at all. And I was like, this is a great omen. Things are gonna work out. Later on, we were supposed to stay at an Airbnb near Beverly Hills. We expected it to be like nice and it would be fine for us. We walked in. And we found like it was literally a safety threat. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Right away, like as a human being, like you forget everything good that has happened. And I was like, okay, so this doesn't seem right. This house has weird. It was literally a home under construction that they just put on Airbnb for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But listen to this, and I did not know of that, that if there is a safety hazard and you booked it through Airbnb, Airbnb pays for your stay
Mm.
at a hotel or at another Airbnb. Since it was 10 p.m., we stayed at Marriott in Beverly Hills,
Of course.
and it covered almost all of it. And then I was supposed to speak at Kathy's event, and all I thought of it was I was like, I wish Andy Grammer and Amy Purdy are there when I speak. And when I spoke, I was on the stage with them. And I tell you that money sometimes, I know it seems such a cliche, money has nothing to do with the way you feel
Mm-hmm.
during the life. It's how coherent you are with your
Yes.
superior self and the superior power. And once you let go, that's all there is to it. And that's why I say religion, faith, spirituality all equals down to freedom,
Mm-hmm.
because we are free. We know someone is watching over us. And therefore, all these restrictions and all these rules that we see around the world does not matter. It's just something that, people have came up with just to make other people's life worse. That's how I see it. But
Mm-hmm.
if we just keep it simple and just say that, every human being I'm going to meet, I'm going to give them the respect and love that I want for myself, no matter who they are.
Right. That's so beautiful. And everything about you just lights me up, and it gets me so excited for the 1,000 more people. Like here's just the 1,000 more, and then the 1,000 more, and the 1,000 more, like how it's just effortlessly growing, but it can't grow without you. It can't be without you.
Mhm.
And I wonder if you would kind of shine a light on that for each person listening today. Like, how do they get past thinking that they're small to know that there's somebody out there waiting for their light, and you just don't know? Like, what would you say to them?
So if you're probably listening to this, you're listening to it on your phone or on your laptop and you have a Wi-Fi, um, just think of how privileged you are.
Hmm.
Just think of, just for a minute, just feel the ground under your feet and just look around and see the clothes that you are wearing and the freedom of speech that you have. And we are seeing how much of it is a blessing living in the United States of America. And we take it for granted all the time. Look at, all you have to do is just pick up your phone, make a reel of whatever is on your heart or your mind, and something nice. And so many people will get touched by it, and it wouldn't cost a penny. You already have a phone. You can, even if you don't want to be present on the camera, use an image and just write down what you felt.
Or a voiceover. Voiceovers
Or
are
a
so
voiceover.
beautiful.
But just know that just when we cancel our dreams because of XYZ, you're canceling out dreams of many other women. If I didn't have the courage to ask for donations, look at all these people, look at all these kids who have not had lunch, and you don't know what they're gonna do. They're always gonna remember that someone brought food for them. The women who now don't like who now no longer have to worry about dinner, and they're getting protein and they're getting a home cooked meal, and there's so many worries they don't have to worry about. But what I feel so much resonance with is when you eat and you fall asleep, your body rejuvenates again in the morning. And maybe those people don't have to pick up trash anymore. And they don't have to be maids and they don't have to get paid. Like, there might be a download somewhere that we want to equal. And there was one lady who picks up trash and has 5 beautiful daughters. Every time she takes dinner, she distributes it in her neighborhood as well. Whoever can eat, she will try to make more of it. And just imagine. And I think it's not like, I often think about it's not like they're not blessed. It's our test that we are blessed with so much, and what are we doing? Um, and I see women while coaching, they have a business, but the only reason why it's not accelerating is because there's no purpose attached to it.
Right. It's if we're doing it for the eye, if we're standing in it for just like, what is it going to bring us? It's not gonna go, because this is about like all of those children being fed. I mean, just one child to walk away and start a company that, I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen, the greatness that's going to happen from that moment on for those children. And if you don't say yes, if you don't say yes, God, yes to the thing that feels impossible, and just allow it to unfold, you won't know. Like you said with the upgrade, and you had that during our retreat when I met you. You were like, we got here and the whole car thing, and then they gave you a whole new room. And like literally God had your back the whole time, because you're meant to serve at a higher capacity. And it's scary to sometimes to say yes to ourselves, to do that coaching program or to go to that retreat, to invest in something that we don't see like, well, that will bring us. But God says,
and I have been there.
yeah,
Those
yeah.
4 or 5 years where I thought I would never be able to do anything. I want to be with my kids, and oh, look at me, I'll never show my face this way on the Instagram or on anywhere else. But I tell you, when I planned that Malibu retreat, and then being there for 3 weeks in California, I found $3,000 in my closet that I thought I used, like, I was pretty sure I used them like 6 months ago. And where did I find them? Like, on a shoe rack. So I know sometimes and I used to be the same person. Someone who might be listening to this was like, she's just lucky. There are all these lucky people, but I never get to have that. But did you say yes to yourself? Did you say, yes, you can do it? I remember Sherry Salata doing this whole meditation, but what I remember from it, and it's part of my prayers now, is God, open the doors for me. There's so much I want to do. Just open the doors for me. And that's all what you need. No doubts, no nothing. And I know the more successful you are, the more doubts you have. But let it go and just be free, and know that you will make a difference in someone's life. And the favor will be returned to you.
I agree. Tenfold, right?
Yeah.
Tenfold. Can you tell everybody where to find you and how to come and hang out with you and your beautiful work?
So you can follow me on Let's Come Forward, and there is a little link on my profile where there's a Let's Connect 30 minutes.
Perfect.
So if you want to get in touch, I would love to talk to anyone who is stuck in this mindset. And it just fulfills you so much when you do things for others, and you get to meet great people like you. It's been such an honor. I know we don't stay in touch as much, but the work that you do it just touches my heart, Jeannie. It's just, you are such a blessing. And I think the light that shines through you. And this is why, and I think it's such a blessing on its own, right? There's no price tag on this, right? And it's such a blessing on its own. And this is what I see as well, of having such amazing people around me all the time, but so much support and so much love.
Yes. And tell everybody how they can attend your incredible event in LA.
If you're
I'm
going to
like
be in
blown
LA.
away. I can't, I'm still blown away. She's having an
And we
event in
want to do
LA.
it in every city, in every state. This is just the start. It's called the season of gathering. Um, and it's about bringing women together and providing them with tools of gaining more peace, gaining more tranquility, accepting each other, being the light and the landscape for their children, and telling them that we are all one. We're all brothers and sisters. We are all extension of one another. There's there's no division, for heaven's sake. It's just
It's
just
all,
love.
yes. I got to tell you this story. I went to, I'm working with this other coach that I one of the gals I met in California. So I'm doing a little work with her, and I was on my way to her house. She lives about 45 minutes away from me. And every time I've gone to her house now, several times, I've gone a different way. And I'm like amazed by this. Like, so I'm on my way to her house this past week, and it's a completely new way. And I'm like, God, this is hilarious. Every week there's a new way. And he says, he drops into my spirit. He says, all roads lead to the same place. We're all going to go to this beautiful place in heaven. And there is no segregation. There's no separation. There's no difference. We're love. And so if we become that love now, if we start living heaven now, just imagine what would happen to all of that angst that we carry and the suffering we see in the world. So you live that way. Perfect
I
example.
totally agree with the readings. I have read it in like religious context in Islamic literature and Christian, and it's a universal truth that we choose heaven or hell while we're in this world.
Agreed.
Witness that and just choose heaven. Just know what heaven is, what this is right now.
Yes.
You and I talking and being so blessed to be so resourceful to be talking like this, and then this is going to reach so many people. And if it touches one heart, all this hard work is paid off. And if they are able to change a life, and then the other person is able to change a life, we can't change the world, but when we change one life, for that life we have changed the world.
Right. And it really does have to start with you first, because if you don't go first, if you don't, like, if you're not brave, like you were to see, like, there's something going on, I need to be something has to be different here, because I'm not good. I'm not my same self. And then one brave move, and then you open a shop, like one brave move, one little step at a time to awaken and find out who you are, being curious. You go first, and the rest will start to follow. If we give it all away and give it to all of our children, and we are depleted, it's not going to do anyone good, especially ourselves or the world.
Yes. And Christmas is coming soon, and Thanksgiving is coming soon. So we have all the opportunities to give and to show love and to just show that we are all one. And this is a beautiful season that we are in right now, and I think it's the perfect time to talk about giving. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I so love being with you, and we will put all of her information into the show notes so you guys can find it nice and easily. And we'll be in touch. I'll be in touch soon.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, love.
I love you.
All right, dear sweetheart. Bye.
You'll never worry or fear. Her love is special when she is near. The pain relieves the ties to